tonight is going to be the YouTube game, which is going to be taking place between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. I think I've mostly called them the Los Angeles Chargers now. There was a while I was still calling them San Diego. Same thing with the Raiders being Oakland. I think I've switched on my brand. They are the LA Chargers now. But Nick, a couple big things about this. A, it's going to be live stream for free on YouTube. And then the other big part of this as well is iShowSpeed. We've talked about the creator economy, is also going to be doing a alternative broadcast of that on hosted on his channel. And just for the numbers, he has 43 million subscribers. So not a small, insignificant number. He's not going to be the only content creator that's going to be doing this all cast, but he's essentially the biggest one of the group. That game is going to be hosted down in Brazil Friday night. But Nick, the NFL, they keep trying doing new things. And, for you, we've spent quite a bit of time talking about YouTube recently and where it should fit within your strategy. Whether it should be your main platform, a supplementary platform, where should it fit? The NFL, has to deal with YouTube TV, but that's a completely different thing all to begin with. They've got different streaming deals with Amazon and NBC. They've got their traditional linear broadcast partners, and now dipping the toe, live streaming a game on YouTube.
So let's take a step back quickly and remember what this deal is. They paid about 100 million US, I think, for this opportunity to take these rights, take them globally. So that's a big investment, particularly when YouTube's message has been, ever since the Sunday Ticket deal, is we're not buying rights anymore. But they felt the need to make this investment. And the question is why? Now, my theory on that is basically they want to use this as the ultimate case study to say, look, we're going to pay a fortune for these rights. We're going to monetize them, and we're going to make it worth our while to spend this money. But following this, we're not going to buy any more rights. We're going to show you how it's done. Because remember, YouTube's model is pretty much primarily ad funded. They, I believe, will be also selling some sponsorships and doing special advertising packages mainly on their content. I'm intrigued to see who they're using as their broadcast partner to produce the live broadcast. I'm guessing there's one of the main free-to-air partners in the US is taking that. But anyway, my point here is I think they're using this as a case study, and then they're going to walk away, go, look, we've shown you now we can generate incredible audience numbers. We've created a new way of distributing content by working with creators to create all these extreme distribution channels. They can basically, with those relationships, can scale their audience to unprecedented levels, tapping into an iShowSpeed and all these other influencers and say, hey, we're going to give you the rights to the NFL here. In return, we're going to share ad revenue off your feed, and you get the rights for free. I mean, how are they not going to say yes to that? And instantly, YouTube, in this instance, just scales their audience to incredible levels. So I just think the sky is the limit for this type of model and approach. I never thought about the fact that YouTube might take this such heavier creator-led option. I remember when they did the Sunday Ticket deal, part of that was giving creators access to the rights in some instances to create alternative broadcasts, but never at this scale. This feels pretty massive.
It's not the only thing. We talked about iShowSpeed is going to be live streaming from his channel, but also we got gifted something in preparation for this. MrBeast putting out advertisement, a gimmick, promotion, whatever you want to call it, saying he's bought the NFL and he's brought in all of these streamers. iShowSpeed, one of them I mentioned to you before the show, Nick. I'm a little upset. While I understand putting him next to Tyreek Hill because of some of the stuff that he is technically from Cincinnati, Ohio, and is a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but they even got MrBeast trying to come in and promote this and whip this up, because obviously MrBeast is the king of all things YouTube and, trying to plug in with his influence as well. But Nick, you didn't sound like you're necessarily loving this idea.
Well, I think the idea.
Did I throw you under the bus?
Well, I think the idea of leaning into the creative economy is absolutely genius, and I think is what everyone in sports should be paying so much attention to this model and to this approach. I've been talking about this for years to say to people. I had a conversation recently this week with a rights owner who approached me to get some advice. It's like, think about giving some of your rights to your athletes and to your athletes and basically people who have either got a big audience or want to have a meaningful audience and have the ability to grow one and to scale it, because that incentive of taking on their own rights just massively increases the scale of the audience and visibility of that live experience. And by doing so, all those other levers that can be pulled in terms of not only just getting mass interest and fandom, but also sponsorship, obviously merchandise sales, and etc., can then be layered on with this huge audience. That's why we've been saying for a long time you can't just take a subscription only approach, right? So this is just basically destroying the subscription model and saying, hey, we have a new way of working, which is get your rights onto YouTube. You will generate revenue. So we can, YouTube is saying this, we can predict what you can basically earn, not guarantee, but close to. And then you have all these other levers to expand your audience and expand your revenue. It just makes working with YouTube almost a no-brainer over time. Now, I'm saying that because which makes me probably sound like I'm selling the life out of YouTube. We did a pod on this a couple of weeks ago where I try to like set the scenes of expectation here. It sounds great in theory for anyone who's not the NFL. It's very difficult to pull some of these levers and get a I showed speed and MrBeast to work with you. So it's not that easy for everyone. But I think relative terms, if you're a sports property that's struggling to get a rights deal, look at this type of approach to see if you can really scale your audiences using athletes and other maybe influencers around your sport. And you might be shocked about the scale that you can get.